Welcome to my channel What If Legend. This video is on what if Naruto had Uzumaki, Senju, and Uchiha blood coursing through his veins part 1. The like goal for this video is 40 likes. Sooner the like goal is met, sooner I will upload the next part of this what if. If you enjoy this what if, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to this channel. Disclaimer, I don't own Naruto nor this what if. Hokage's office, the sun was shining brightly in the sky, signifying the time being noon. Sarutobi Hiruzen, the third Hokage, was sitting in his office with 3 elders. One was an old woman while the other 2 were old-looking men. They were also his former teammates, now turned his advisors. They were discussing a few lax matters when suddenly, they heard a knock on the door. Seeing that they were almost finished with their meeting, Hiruzen spoke. "Come in." The door opened and Ruka walked in the office. Upon noticing the village elders with the Hokage, he quickly bowed and said, "Hokage-sama, elders, I apologize for interrupting. I will come some other time if you're still busy." Hiruzen shook his head. "It's quite alright, Ruka. We were almost finished with our discussion anyway. What brings you here in my office today?" "I wanted to discuss with you about one of my students in the academy, Hokage-sama," Ruka stated. Hiruzen looked at Ruka with a raised eyebrow, wondering what was so important that an academy teacher had come to him regarding one of the academy students to discuss about. That was unless the student was Naruto Uzumaki. "Who might this student be, Ruka?" Hiruzen asked, inwardly hoping that Ruka doesn't bring up Naruto's name. "It's Naruto Uzumaki, Hokage-sama," Ruka responded, not seeing the hidden problem. Now that got the attention of the elders, especially Danzo Shimura, because he had tried several times for Naruto Uzumaki to be handed over to him for his training so that he could mold him like a perfect shinobi, a weapon for the sake of the village. He was always denied by the third Hokage though. Hiruzen could easily read Danzo's face. He wanted to avoid any discussion about Naruto in front of him because of his interest in Naruto, but he realized that he couldn't just tell them to leave, as it would lead to a pointless argument and a complicated situation. Hiruzen signed and looked at Ruka, asking, "What about him? Did he do something now?" "Yes, no. I mean no, Hokage-sama. It's just that I don't know how to handle him," Ruka answered nervously. He didn't really know how to explain to the Hokage about what happened during today's class. Hiruzen looked at Ruka with narrowed eyes and questioned him again. "What do you mean you can't handle him, Ruka? Say it clearly so that I can understand your situation." Hiruzen knew that Ruka doesn't have any negative views regarding Naruto. Unlike some other people in the village, he himself had made it clear with Ruka before the start of the academy. That time, Ruka had assured him that he didn't hold anything against Naruto and knew how difficult his life would be without any support of family or friends. He couldn't understand now what could be the problem with Ruka. Unless it has to be something else. He looked at Ruka with narrowed eyes, telling him to explain everything. Ruka saw the Hokage's look and understood the signal immediately. He quickly starts explaining, "During today's lecture, I was teaching the class about the history and past of the 4th Hokage. Everything was going like normal until it came to the part about the Kyuubi attack. When I finished telling the class that the 4th Hokage died killing the 9-tailed fox, Hiruzen and elders saw where this was going. As it was, the third Hokage's law was that the young generation didn't need to be told the full truth behind the Kyuubi attack so that Naruto could live a normal life, making friends among his age. Hiruzen knew that Naruto himself didn't know the truth about him being the Jinchuriki of said beast. It was being kept a secret from him and the younger generation, as Hiruzen forbid the people forever mentioning about Nine-Tails Fox being sealed inside Naruto. The 3 elders were also aware of Naruto, keeping a close look on Naruto's progress. For now, They decided to watch quietly from their sitting places. Hiruzen looked at Ruka, motioning for him to continue. After I finished, Naruto asked me on how the fourth Hokage killed the Kyuubi, when the first Hokage, Hashirama Senju, couldn't kill the beast during his fight against the Kyuubi in Madara Akaya at the Valley of the End. That's not all, Hokage-sama. He also spoke that, after the fight at the Valley of the End, that first Hokage collected all the 9 Baijiu and gave 8 Baijius to the other great nations in the form of friendship, to maintain the balance of power. Hiruzen and the 3 elders were shocked at hearing this. Even Danzo, who normally didn't show much emotion on his face, couldn't help himself this time. They never expected this from any academy student, but they listened to Ruka as he continued. That's not all, Hokage-sama. After this, he asked me why didn't the Leaf Village get any Baijiu. If the first Hokage was giving the Baijiu to the other nations to maintain balance and power, then Konoha must have kept one for itself. He also asked why the name of the 9-tailed fox was never mentioned anywhere until the day said Baijiu suddenly attacked the village on October 10th. Ruka finished his explaining. The Hokage and the elders knew that this was a dangerous situation that they were in with Naruto. They couldn't tell Naruto that he was the Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi. More importantly, that the Kyuubi was always in the village after the fight at the Valley of the End. As the first Hokage's wife, Mito Uzumaki, sealed the Kyuubi in herself so it could not bring any harm to others. The whole truth was being kept a secret from the general populace of the village. Only a few selected people know the full truth. Koharu Utatane, who was sitting next to Hiruzen's left, was an old woman. Her hair was pulled back in a twin bun, locked in place by Senbon. Like her outfit, she wore a simple long-sleeved kimono, closed by an obi, a jacket and sash over it. She looked at Hiruzen. What are you going to do about this, Hiruzen? It's a serious matter. How did he even get his hands on this information in the first place? Hiruzen, who was deep in thought, didn't respond to her as he was thinking about everything Ruka brought up. He knew that Naruto was a very smart and mature kid for his age. One day, he would have to tell him the truth, but Naruto wasn't ready to know the truth yet. Hokage-sama, Ruka spoke, getting his attention. Snapping out of his thoughts, he looked at Ruka before asking, Ruka, did he tell you where he got this information? Hi Hokage-sama, he said that he read an old book on Hashirama Senju's history from your personal library, Ruka responded. He was worried about what this meant for Naruto. Hiruzen mentally cursed his luck, rubbing his forehead in slight frustration. He should have known. That brat, always curious about things. With his interest in the previous Hokage's lives, he had allowed Naruto to read the books from his personal library. It seems that was a bad decision on his part. The elders looked at him before Danzo stated. You are getting careless, Hiruzen, allowing the Uzumaki boy to read from your personal library. You know that there can be some sensitive information that shouldn't be known to the others, let alone a kid. Hiruzen sighed and looked at Ruka. What did you say to him, Ruka? I didn't answer anything, Hokage-sama. Luckily, the bell rang and I left the class. Ruka answered Hiruzen. That's good, I'll talk to Naruto myself. You don't have to do anything, Ruka, just continue your classes as it is. Hiruzen informed him. Hi, Hokage-sama, Ruka said. Hiruzen nodded to Ruka, silently dismissing him. Ruka bowed to him and left the office. Now, Hiruzen was left alone with his advisors. He knew what was coming up, so he mentally prepared for it. You should hand over the Jinchuriki to me, Hiruzen. I will train him to be a loyal shinobi of the Leaf Village. Then we will have the perfect weapon against the other nations, stated Danzo. I will be doing no such thing to Naruto. Don't take me for a fool, Danzo. I know you only want him because you want his power. I will make this clear, Danzo. Naruto will be a shinobi under my command. A leaf shinabi. Not some emotionless drone that you want him to be, do you understand? Hiruzen said with narrowed eyes, his voice deadly. It would be the best option, in my opinion, letting Danzo take care of Naruto. Hiruzen, spoke Hamura, who was quiet until now. Koharu also nodded, agreeing with him. I didn't ask for any of your opinions on the matter. You three are only here for advising me, not to command me. This conversation is over, dismissed. Hiruzen stated with a commanding tone. They tried to argue with him but Hiruzen didn't listen to them. I said dismissed, I have work to do, Hiruzen stated angrily, as he was starting to lose his patience with them. The elders left quickly after that, knowing that they couldn't argue with him now. Danzo was gritting his teeth as he was once again denied by the Hokage for taking Naruto under his command. He believed that Naruto should be trained to become a weapon for the village for their safety and power. Before he was at the door, Hiruzen stopped him. Danzo, get this through your head. If you make any kind of move on Naruto or try to make contact with him, I will execute you. Understood? He warned Danzo. Danzo tightened his fists but nodded. I understand, Hiruzen. He left, leaving Hiruzen alone in the office. Hiruzen rubbed his temples in frustration. I am getting too old for this. With Naruto, Naruto was meditating, sitting under a tree, trying to calm his mind. What happened during class was still on his mind. He couldn't understand why the academy was trying to hide some of the past events, more importantly about the nine-tailed fox from the students. He was so caught up in his thoughts that he didn't feel another person entering the field. Not until the person spoke to get his attention. Naruto-kun, Naruto, recognizing the voice, opened his eyes and looked at the person. He smiled. Ichino-san, when did you get here? Just a moment ago Naruto-kun, Ichi responded. Just by looking at Naruto's face, Ichi knew that he was thinking something that was bothering him. Mainly, it was because Naruto was sitting still that gave it away he was bothered. He never sat ideally just to meditate. Something on your mind Naruto-kun? Naruto knew that he could trust Ichi and share anything with him as he had become like a big brother figure to him. Naruto nodded with a sigh and spoke. It was during today's lecture in the academy that Truka-sensei said something in class that I don't understand. Why would he teach wrong information about the past? When I questioned him, he didn't answer any of my questions. Ichi was wondering what Ruka was teaching them about that got Naruto so worked up, as well as why Naruto would say that it was the wrong information. He looked at Naruto, voicing his thoughts. What were they teaching you about and why would you say that they were telling was wrong information? Naruto huffed before he went on explaining what happened during class. That they were teaching about Shinobi history and some of the achievements of the 4th Hokage. Then the whole thing about Kyuubi came up and that it was killed by the 4th Hokage. He then went on telling him about what he read in a book on the 1st Hokage. That Baijiu couldn't be killed and about the 1st Hokage distributing the Baijiu to the other nations. As Ichi continued to listen to him, he started getting nervous, thinking about what he could tell him. He can't tell Naruto that the fox was sealed inside of him by the 4th. Naruto was still too young to know the truth. He also knew that Naruto was very smart, so if he was told anything about the Kyuubi attack, because if anything caught Naruto's attention, there was no stopping Naruto from asking questions until he was satisfied. He had to be careful from saying any unnecessary stuff from now on. The events you're speaking of are too old Naruto-kun and should remain in the past. There were some reasons for those events to be kept hidden from the general populace. Today's generation doesn't need to know about those events, Ichi stated calmly. Naruto was annoyed that the village was keeping this important information hidden from his generation. He questioned him on it. Why the hell can't we know the truth? I mean, we are upcoming Shinobi of the village, shouldn't they tell us about the events that occurred in the past? Ichi sighed lightly, looking at him. You have a good point, Naruto-kun, but you have to understand that the times we live in today are far different from the times in the past. These are the times of peace, not war, where children were forced to grow up early because of the circumstances. The village is just trying for the children to live free lives like they should have before they become shinobi. Naruto nodded towards Ichi but still didn't agree with him. Ichi, at seeing this, continued on. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, you will know the truth when the time comes. It's alright, I understand, Nisan, Naruto responded quietly. Ichi, reading Naruto's face, decided to distract him from thinking too hard on it, so he instead asked, "So, how's your training going?" Naruto looked back up at him and answered, "It's going alright, I think, but I'm still having problems with the clone technique. I have completed the chakra control exercise, but still, I can't get my chakra control up to the level to perform a proper clone. Don't waste too much of your time on a single technique, that will be no good in a fight for you. It requires very little chakra concentration to do the technique. You, on the other hand, have too much chakra for a technique like that," Ichi stated. "What do you mean, Nisan? It is one of the 3 techniques you have to know to pass the academy, isn't it?" Naruto asked, not fully understanding what Ichi was trying to say. The normal clone jutsu can easily be identified by the opponent. It will be no good in a real fight, so don't waste your time on it, Ichi responded to him. Naruto wondered. But it's still one of the 3 techniques to graduate the academy. If I don't learn the clone jutsu, how am I going to pass the academy? Ichi calmly responded back. Because I'm going to teach you a different and more advanced version of a clone jutsu. What jutsu you're going to teach me? Naruto asked eagerly, leaning in slightly. I am going to teach you the Shadow Clone Jutsu. It's a Jounin level jutsu, the advanced version of a normal clone jutsu. Ichi answered him. What makes it so different from a normal clone jutsu? Questioned Naruto. Ichi decided to show the jutsu to him instead of answering. He performed necessary hand seals to concentrate his chakra into before he called the jutsu name. Shadow Clone Jutsu. He created 4 identical clones of himself before looking back at Naruto. He then starts explaining. You see, Naruto-kun, it's called the Shadow Clone Jutsu, and it's not some kind of illusion. It's an actual replica of myself that I created by distributing my chakra equally among the others. They can even be used in combat, as they can perform jutsu, which gives you an advantage in a fight. Your opponent will have a hard time identifying the real one among the clones, which will confuse them. Even with the Byakugan and Sharingan, it is impossible to identify the real one. It has many more advantages though, not just what I have listed. Naruto nodded in understanding. He was amazed by the jutsu, which seems to make a replica of you, being able to do whatever you could do. Ichi then showed Naruto the hand signs for the jutsu, explaining how it works. When you perform the jutsu, you make the necessary hand signs and concentrate your chakra in your body to split the chakra equally among your clones. The more chakra you use, the stronger your jutsu will be, but keep in mind that the clones will dispel by 1 or 2 solid hits in a fight. Understood? Naruto nodded at this, so Ichi continued. Since I showed and explained to you on how to perform this Shadow Clone Jutsu, I want you to try to perform it. Don't try to rush into it, just keep your head calm, alright? Naruto nodded, alright. He then made the hand signs for the jutsu, calling out its name, Shadow Clone Jutsu. Nothing happened, so he tried a couple more times but still couldn't make a single clone. Ichi, who was watching him from the side, spoke up. Don't worry, Naruto-kun, you will get it in time. You just need to practice a little, so keep it up, alright? Naruto nodded in his direction before continuing with his training. After a couple of hours, Naruto had perfectly performed the Shadow Clone Jutsu, as he was able to make up to 10 clones of himself because of his large chakra capacity. It did leave him tired out for trying so many times though. Right now, He was looking at his clones with a satisfied look on his face, happy for learning such a high-level technique. Itachi, who was watching him from the side still, was also very satisfied with his progress. He was quite surprised by how fast Naruto was able to master the technique. He really didn't expect him to learn it so fast. Itachi commended Naruto with a small smile. "You did well, Naruto-kun. I didn't expect you to learn it so quickly." "Thanks, Nisan," Naruto responded to his compliment. "You still have to keep practicing the jutsu until you can make the number of clones you want. You're still wasting your chakra unnecessarily if you're not in control of your jutsu, alright?" stated Itachi. Naruto replied with a simple hi. "For now, I want one of your clones to go with my clone into the forest, then we'll see what happens." He then made a single clone of himself. Itachi's clone then took one of Naruto's clones into the forest with him. Naruto, on the other hand, was unable to understand what Itachi was trying to accomplish by doing that. He dispelled his other clones and decided to watch what happens quietly. After a couple of minutes, Itachi looked at Naruto's shocked face, still not knowing what happened in the forest but realized a moment later of what transpired. "Do you know what happened in the forest?" Naruto was still in shock, but he still replied. "Your clone killed my clone by stabbing him with a kunai." Itachi nodded at his answer before Naruto came to the realization. "Wait a minute. How do I know what happened in the forest with the clone? It was like I was there experiencing myself being stabbed by a kunai," he asked in confusion, not understanding how it was possible. Itachi, seeing his confused face, started explaining it to him. "It is one of the advantages you get from using the shadow clones. When my clone stabbed your clone in the back, it was dispelled, transferring all of its memories back to the original. That is why you know what happened back there. The shadow clones are ideal for spying since the user can simply send a clone to spy on a target before having the clone disperse itself to pass the information back to the original." "Wow, a broken bar. Hey, does that mean whatever jutsu the clone learns, it can also be transferred back to the original?" Naruto asked eagerly. He was amazed by learning about the memory transfer part of the clone. "Yes, it is possible," Itachi replied him with hidden amusement. "Then can I use the clones in training to learn jutsu?" he asked with an excited smile. Itachi looked at Naruto for a moment, then spoke. "No, you're not going to use clones in that way." "Huh? But why?" Naruto asked, dropping the smile on his face. "The shadow clone jutsu is a forbidden technique for a reason. Not many people can perform this technique. You are only able to perform the jutsu without killing yourself because of your large chakra reserves," stated Itachi. Naruto still couldn't understand what Itachi was trying to say, so he asked. "But you said it yourself, I have a large chakra capacity, so it would be helpful for me if I use the clones for training. You have to understand, Naruto-kun, your chakra coils and body are still in the development phase. All the clones' memories can put too much of stress on your mind, it can hinder your development and can affect your body in a negative way. Maybe in time you can use the clones for a training purpose when your chakra coils are fully developed, but not now," he answered Naruto calmly. "Alright, I understand, Nisan." Naruto nodded in understanding, still a little disgruntled. "Don't worry, Naruto-kun, you're progressing very quickly. You are way ahead in comparison to the other kids your age. While it's understandable that you want to become strong, but you should also be aware of your limitations," Itachi stated. Hi, you don't have to lecture me about this time, Nisan. You are starting to make a habit of it nowadays, I think," Naruto responded with arms folded. Itachi's eyebrow twitches at hearing Naruto say that, but he composed himself quickly and spoke. "Whatever, you get my point. I should get going now, I have to get ready for my mission tonight." Naruto nodded. "Alright, I'm going to stay for a bit longer and continue with training." Itachi nodded before he smiles, calling Naruto over. "Naruto, with a confused look, walked up to him. As he came near, Itachi poked his forehead with 2 fingers. Naruto stumbled backward a little, rubbing his forehead and glared in Itachi's direction, but he had already left in a shunshin, leaving him alone. He was fuming inwardly. Stupid Itachi. 6 months later, a lot had happened in the past 6 months with Naruto. He continued to progress at very impressive speed as he quickly mastered the Shadow Clone Jutsu to the level where he can control the number of clones he wanted. He also started interrogating his clones into his fighting style using a danto. Itachi had gifted him the danto on his 7th birthday, later teaching him how to use it in battle. His bond with Itachi kept getting deeper in that time, leading him to meet one of Itachi's closest friends, Uchiha. When he started joining them in training, he became quite close to Uchiha as well. He also had a long talk with his surrogate grandfather, the 3rd Hokage, about the whole incident that happened in the classroom with Ruka. The Hokage had told him that he was still too young to know the sensitive information, but he promised him that he would tell him the truth when the time comes. Now, we fight Naruto in a sparring match against Itachi, both the fighters standing on the opposite edges of the training grounds as they stared into each other's eyes. A small leaf was floating in the light wind in the middle of the field. Both sets of eyes observed its decadence towards the ground. The moment the leaf made contact with the grass, both the fighters shot forward with Genin-level speeds. Naruto, once reaching Itachi, tried to deliver a punch straight in the stomach of the Uchiha as he used his left leg as a support to drive the sucker punch into the abdomen of his opponent. Itachi, seeing the punch coming, twisted his body sideways to let it pass harmlessly. He quickly spun around on his right heel and scored his own punch onto Naruto's left cheek, pushing the blonde backward a little. Naruto though was quick to regain his footing lest he risk banging his head on the ground. Quickly running toward Naruto, Itachi never gave him a fraction of a second to regain his balance as he continued his assault on the academy student. He used his elbows, punches, slaps, and all sorts of attacks to make Naruto understand his mistakes and identify his errors in his defense. This continued on for a few minutes when suddenly, Naruto raised his right knee upwards to block a left hook from Itachi. Itachi was a little surprised at the sudden change in tactics but decided to go with the flow to allow Naruto some leverage as the younger of the two. He smashed his forearm into Naruto's shin as Naruto used his left hand to grasp Ichi's right fist in a metal grip. Now, both of Ichi's hands were busy overpowering Naruto while Naruto had his right hand free to attack Ichi on his exposed chest. Deciding to do just that, Naruto reared back his fist, as if charging chakra in it, before moving his fist at lightning speed towards Ichi to deal the damage. At the last moment, right before it hit, Ichi gave up the pushing contest and jumped backward while delivering a high kick to Naruto's chin, succeeding in lifting the blonde up into the air. Naruto soon crashed to the ground as Ichi landed on his feet, the look of surprise evident on his face. He contemplated how to deal with this new Naruto who could change a tactical disadvantage into a great opportunity in battle. Ichi had to admit that Naruto was progressing at a remarkable speed. Even though he was not going all out against Naruto, he was still able to stand up to him at this level for this long. It was quite impressive for an academy student, making him was beyond satisfied at seeing Naruto's progress. Ichi decided to finish the spar with a final move as he continued his assault on Naruto with his taijutsu. Naruto tried to block as many as he could but it was getting difficult for him as now Ichi was taking him seriously, increasing his speed considerably. Unknown to Naruto, Ichi was not doing it intentionally. His attacks had started to get slowly faster. He then kicked Naruto hard, sending him speeding backward and forcing him to lose his balance. Ichi quickly launched a couple of Sharingan in Naruto's direction but suddenly realized his mistake. He knew that Naruto was still out of balance and wouldn't be able to move in time to block them. Ichi quickly dashed forward to save Naruto. As the Sharingan came near him, Naruto realized that he won't be able to block them in time, seeing as he was still unbalanced. He was helpless. Time started to slow down in front of him, making it easier for him to see the Sharingan flying in slow motion towards him. Taking advantage of this, he quickly unsheathed the tanto from his back and threw it in front of him, hitting the Sharingan in midair, pinning them to a nearby tree. When Uchiha got to him, he gets the shock of his lifetime, as instead of Naruto's normally blue eyes, they were red-colored eyes with two tomoe in his left eye and a single tomoe in his right eye. What a broken bar! He couldn't believe what he was seeing. How is it possible for Naruto to awaken the eyes of the Uchiha clan, the Sharingan? He thought, still in shock. He knew that Naruto was not from the Uchiha clan and neither were Naruto's parents. Then the question that was raised was, how did he awaken the Sharingan? As Naruto started to collapse, he quickly caught him in his arms and checked for any serious injuries. Seeing no injuries, he assured himself that nothing serious had happened to Naruto. After finishing that, he places Naruto on his back and quickly started to move in the direction where he hoped he could get his answers. As Itachi jumped across the roofs to get to his destination, he carried Naruto piggyback style. He was still trying to get his thoughts straight but was having a hard time doing it. Those red eyes, with two tomoe in one eye and a single tomoe in the other, looking directly at him. As far as he knew, neither of Naruto's parents belonged to the Uchiha clan. Could it be that one of them was somehow connected to it? He felt Naruto starting to wake up and looked at him on his back as he sighed in relief. The boy's eyes were once again back to their normal blue. He must be pretty exhausted since it was the first time activating his Sharingan, Itachi thought as he watched Naruto rubbing his eyes. "You alright, Naruto-kun?" Itachi asked in concern. Naruto quickly replied, "I'm feeling alright now, but I don't remember clearly what happened. One moment I was feeling helpless seeing those Sharingan coming towards me, and then I suddenly started feeling this burning in my eyes. Then everything started slowing down in front of my eyes and I could see the Sharingan coming towards me in slow motion. I don't remember much after that. Don't think too much, Naruto-kun. Just rest for now and I promise I'll explain everything later," Itachi assured him, but he inwardly wondered what he would say. "Yeah, I'll explain everything when I myself understand what happened exactly and how you awaken the Sharingan." Naruto nodded tiredly but then asked Itachi, his face looking confused. "Where are we going, Nisan?" "We're going to the Hokage's office. I have some important thing to discuss with him." Itachi noticed Naruto's confused look. "I'll answer all your questions there, Naruto, you just rest for now." Naruto nodded and rested his head on Itachi's shoulder as he closed his eyes. Itachi smiled, and picked up his pace to reach his destination. Hokage Tower. Itachi arrived at the Hokage Tower with Naruto on his back and quickly ran up the stairs towards the Hokage's office. He reached for the door to knock a couple of times. "Come in," a voice said from the other side of the door. Upon opening the door, Itachi was greeted with the sight of the Hokage, Hiruzen Sarutobi, calmly sitting in his chair and smoking a pipe. Hiruzen looked at Itachi and when he noticed Naruto resting on his back, a serious look crossed his face. "What happened, Itachi? Is Naruto alright?" Itachi could tell by the look on the Hokage's face, that he was concerned about the boy. The Hokage not only knew everything about Naruto and his parents, but he also saw Naruto as his own grandson. Itachi was positive Hiruzen was the only one who could give him the answers he had come for. Itachi spoke. "Naruto is fine, Hokage-sama. He's only exhausted from sparring." Naruto nodded in confirmation and released his hold on Itachi so he could stand on his own. Itachi continued, "But something happened during our spar, Hokage-sama." "What happened, Itachi?" Hiruzen asked. "I was hoping that I could speak with you in private. It's something sensitive." Itachi didn't want others to know about Naruto's Sharingan, especially not the Uchiha clan. They would go to any lengths to get Naruto under their control, and that would not end well for anyone. Hiruzen signaled to the hidden Anbu Black Ops to leave the office and activated the privacy seal on the doors and windows. He then looked at Ichi seriously. "Now tell me what happened, Ichi." His voice had the tone of authority. Ichi nodded at him, then looked at Naruto, who had a confused look on face. "Naruto-kun, would you please try to channel some chakra in your eyes?" But why, Nisan? Just do what I said, Naruto, you will get your answers soon, Ichi responded calmly. He wondered if Hiruzen had guessed where all this was going. Naruto nodded a moment later and closed his eyes. As he channeled some chakra into them, he could feel a little pain, but moments later he could feel something different. The pain was gone and in its place he felt power flowing there. When Naruto opened his eyes, gone was their normal blue, replaced by two glowing red orbs. Two Tomoe showed in his left eye and Ichi could see two Tomoe in the right one too, before a shock of Naruto's blonde hair covered it. Ichi noticed the Hokage's face but didn't see the shocked expression he had expected. Instead, Hiruzen was staring at Naruto calmly. The look confirmed his suspicions that the Hokage already knew something about this and could give Ichi answers. Hiruzen walked up to Naruto and knelt down to his level to move the bangs from his face, getting a good look at his eyes. "Well, I expected this to happen someday but not this soon." Ichi was confused. "What do you mean, Hokage-sama? I don't understand. As far as I know, neither of Naruto's parents have it. So how could Naruto awaken those eyes?" "No, you're wrong, Attack." Hiruzen started but was interrupted by Naruto. "Would you tell me what you're talking about?" He spoke in an annoyed tone. Hiruzen took out one of his kunai, which had been polished to a mirror-like sheen, and held it before Naruto's eyes. "Take a look for yourself, Naruto." Naruto looked into the reflective steel of the kunai and his face registered surprise. What is this? How is it possible?" he stammered, his voice full of shock. He then looked at Ichi with narrowed eyes. "You know who my parents were and that neither of them had it? I need you to give me answers. Now." Ichi felt uncomfortable but responded, "Yes, I know who your parents were, and as far as you having the Sharingan, I don't have an answer myself. That is why we came here." Ichi saw Naruto clench his jaw and tighten his fist and could hear the anger in his voice as he responded. "You both knew from the start about my parents and never bothered to tell me about them. Why?" Tears suddenly began to fall from his eyes. Hiruzen himself looked uncomfortable, and Ichi wondered how the Hokage would break the news to Naruto. If he told Naruto about his parents, then he would also have to tell him about the Kyuubi, and Ichi wondered whether Hiruzen believed Naruto was ready to know the truth or not. "I am sorry, Naruto-kun, it's not Ichi's fault that he didn't tell you about your parents. It's because I ordered those who know their identity to keep it hidden from everyone and also from you. I'm really sorry, Naruto-kun. I am just trying to protect you in the village." Naruto glared at him furiously and stated, "Trying to protect me from what, a broken bar, huh? I sometimes question myself who my parents were, if they loved me or just left me on my own in this village. You don't understand how it feels to walk the streets where people glare at you with nothing but hate in their eyes and to be called names like demon or monster. And kicked out of stores for just trying to buy something." Ichi tightened his fists and looked away in shame for not being there for Naruto. He didn't have the courage to face him. He could tell by Hiruzen's face that he too was cursing the villagers for disrespecting the fourth Hokage's wish for Naruto to be seen as a hero. The Hokage tried to calm Naruto down as he put a hand on his shoulder. "I understand what you feel, Naruto-kun." But he was once again interrupted as Naruto swapped away his arm. Naruto's glare hardened on him and he continued, "No, you don't understand anything. I always watched fathers picking up their kids from the park and how they walked with their kids holding hands, and I always wanted to experience that. I wanted to feel my father holding my hand like that, and when I walked the streets with you that first time you held my hand while walking, and I felt happy that time because that time I realized what it felt like. You're the closest person I have who's close to a father or grandfather, and now I realize you've been lying to me my whole life." He finished as tears continued flowing from his eyes. Hiruzen did nothing other than look down in shame. He realized how much he had failed Naruto by breaking his trust in him. He was scared now, wondering what Naruto would do when he learned the whole truth about his parents and about being the Kyuubi container. Would Naruto hate him? More importantly, would Naruto hate his own parents for what they did that night by sealing the beast in their own child? But he didn't have any other choice but to tell him the truth, and he would try to explain as best he could. He was glad at least Itachi was here to help him out. "I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. I really am," Hiruzen stated with guilt in his eyes. "Why don't you settle down comfortably? I promise you, I will tell you everything." Naruto composed himself a little and spoke. "All right, tell me everything and don't leave anything out. I promise, but please don't interrupt me. I will answer all your questions at the end, all right?" Hiruzen then looked at Itachi, who nodded in support, then turned his attention back to Naruto and started. "As you know, Naruto, on the day of your birth the Leaf Village was attacked by the Kyuubi no Kitsune and no one was able to stop the beast. Many shinobi and civilians lost their lives that day. Until, as you know, the fourth Hokage stopped the Baijiu by sacrificing his life. I arrived with a couple of shinobi on the battlefield where the fourth teleported the Kyuubi with him. There I found the bodies of the fourth Hokage with his wife, both impaled by the Kyuubi's claw. They had put themselves in front of it trying to protect something. It was then that we noticed the baby no older than a few hours, laying in front of them. It was you, Naruto-kun." Naruto appeared shocked as he listened to the Hokage, and Hiruzen was sure that many questions were coming to his head and was glad he didn't have the voice to ask anything. He noticed Naruto's shocked look and stopped himself from continuing. He didn't want to tell him anything more, but he knew that he had to go on. He hoped that after knowing the truth, Naruto would remain the same loving and gentle person. Itachi placed a hand on the boy's shoulder to show his support, but Naruto didn't acknowledge the gesture. How, W had RYYU saying Jichan, how is it possible? Naruto asked in shock, and Itachi gently squeezed his shoulder. "We weren't able to hear anything or go to them because of the barrier the fourth Hokage's wife put around them, preventing the Kyuubi from escaping, but we know what was happening in there. As you know, Naruto, the Baijiu can't be killed, so the only thing the fourth Hokage could do to stop the Baijiu was to seal it away. He used a self-sacrificing sealing jutsu to seal it in a newborn baby whose chakra coils weren't developed. That baby was you, Naruto-kun. After the sealing process, the barrier dissolved, allowing us to move in, and when we got there they were barely alive. The fourth Hokage's last wish was for you to be seen as a hero for protecting the village. His wife spoke your name on her dying breath." Hiruzen looked at Naruto to see his reaction. Naruto was so shocked after Hiruzen told him that he was the one used for the sealing that he couldn't say anything as his whole brain went blank. He then came to, and remembering all the hateful glares and being called monster and demon behind his back, he began to cry again. Itachi was also having a hard time controlling his emotions as memories of his time with Minato and Kushina came rushing to him, but he controlled himself, as he had to show his support to Naruto. Reaching out, he hugged Naruto and tried to calm him. Naruto put a hand on his stomach where he had seen the seal many times while channeling chakra. He had always wondered what it was but never paid too much attention to it. Now he knew. He looked at the Hokage with puffy eyes. "Why me? Why did they choose me? Where were my parents that time? Did they give me away to the fourth for him to use me? Did they think of me as some kind of monster like many in the village think?" Hiruzen felt terrible for Naruto and at the same time cursed the villagers for what they had done to an innocent child. But he also smiled a little at Naruto and answered, "Your parents didn't hate you, Naruto-kun. I had never seen your parents so happy as when they got the news of your arriving. They couldn't stop smiling, and as for why the fourth and his wife chose you for the sealing. They knew the meaning of sacrifice and couldn't ask anyone else to sacrifice their child, so they used their own baby boy who was born only hours before." Naruto's eyes widened. Never had he expected to be the son of the fourth Hokage. The fourth was his own ideal, the one he wanted to surpass in order to become the strongest Hokage. He smiled a very small smile as he thought of his parents and realized he had been wanted and loved by his mother and father. Itachi and Hiruzen both felt a little relaxed seeing him smile and were thankful that Naruto was taking the news calmly. He didn't seem to show any kind of dislike or hate towards his father and mother, but for confirmation, Hiruzen asked, "You don't hate them, Naruto, for what they did by sealing the Kyuubi in you, do you?" Naruto shook his head. "How can I hate them? I am sure they didn't have any other solution. You once said to me that being Hokage is not a simple job that anyone can do, and being Shinobi means self-sacrifice. Well, my father was not just a Shinobi, he was also the Hokage. If the Hokage can't sacrifice anything for his village, then how can he accept other Shinobi around him to do the same? And if my Tao-san had used any other kid, then I don't think he would have deserved to be called a Hokage and father. I am proud to be his son." Itachi and Hiruzen both were shocked at the level of maturity Naruto showed. Hiruzen was certain that many of the Jounin level Shinobi didn't have this type of thinking, and here was a 7-year-old who was in the second year of his academy showing the mindset of a true Shinobi. They smiled at Naruto with pride in their expressions. "I can't describe in words how proud I am of you, Naruto-kun. I am certain if your parents were here with us, they would also feel proud. Just remember that they gave their lives so you could live on. Don't waste it. Make them proud." Hiruzen ruffled Naruto's hair with a proud smile on his face. Jichan, you didn't tell me Kachan's name, spoke Naruto, rubbing the back of his neck, realizing he didn't know his mother's name. Hiruzen blinked a couple of times, then laughed a little as he remembered Kushina. "Ah, yes, your mother. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki, and she was the granddaughter of the first Hokage. She was a very kind woman, always smiling and joking, but when she got angry she used to scare the shit out of people, especially your father. Because she had long red hair, people started calling her Red Hot Habanera." He and Itachi both shivered a little at the image of Kushina with fire in her eyes and her red hair waving like the Kyuubi's tails. Naruto laughed a little, imagining his father the strongest Shinobi who ever lived with a scared face because of his mother. But he was also shocked about knowing that he was also the great-grandson of the first Hokage. Hiruzen's heart melted a little seeing Naruto laugh, thinking how much happiness suited his face. He couldn't help but see both Minato and Kushina in him. Hiruzen went over to his desk, opened a drawer, and took out a photo frame from inside. He then walked back to Naruto and showed him the photo. "This is the only photo I have of them in the office right now." Naruto took the frame in his hand and looked at it. It was a picture of Kushina pregnant and smiling, with Minato standing behind her with his hand on her stomach and a big grin on his face. Naruto couldn't stop a single tear from falling from his eyes as he looked for the first time at his parents. How beautiful his mother looked and how happy they both looked together in the photo. "They looked so happy and perfect," he said quietly. Hiruzen and Itachi both smiled at him. Then Naruto looked at Hiruzen and asked a question which had been troubling him for some time. "Chichan, if my father sealed the Kyuubi in me, then why are the instructors in the academy saying that the fourth killed the Kyuubi?" Hiruzen sighed and spoke. "Because I forbade anyone from ever mentioning the fact that the Kyuubi is sealed in you. I wanted to prevent the younger generation from knowing." Naruto spoke in confusion. But why would you do something like that? Hiruzen looked at Naruto a little longer and then responded. After the attack, the village was in state of panic. After having so many lives lost in the attack and the death of Minato, there was total unrest in the village, and when the emergency meeting was held where I told the council about the Kyuubi sealing, some of the council members demanded your death. I ordered the council not to mention anything about you to the general public, but someone in the council leaked the information about you, and within the next day, half of the village was demanding your death. Seeing all this, I passed the law stating that whoever spoke of the Kyuubi being sealed and you would be sentenced to death without any trial. He sighed and spoke again. I only wanted you to live a normal life and make friends among your age. Naruto looked down after hearing this, feeling bad about how some of villagers treated him. Why didn't they understand that he was just a small child, not a monster or demon? It wasn't his fault that the Kyuubi attacked their village. Hiruzen put a hand on his head to show his support. Don't think about it too much, Naruto-kun. Humans always fear what they don't understand. Naruto smiled a little, thankful for his support, and was glad that he had people like Hiruzen, Itachi, Ruka and Shizui who cared about him so much. Just you wait, Gigi, he said with determination. A day will come when everyone in the village will respect me and acknowledge me as someone important. This is the village my parents sacrificed everything for and died protecting. I will do the same. I will protect the village till my last breath. Hiruzen smiled at him with pride and said, I don't doubt that. Itachi was relieved that Naruto had taken the news so well and now decided it was time to get them on the topic that he had come here for. He wanted answers. Hokage-sama, all this doesn't explain how Naruto awakened the Sharingan. As you know, neither Kushina Oba-san or Minato-sama belong to the Uchiha clan. How is it possible? Oba-san? Naruto wondered, but decided to ask him later. He wanted Hiruzen's answer as much as Itachi did. You're wrong on that, Itachi. Minato had very strong ties to the Uchiha clan. Hiruzen responded calmly. Itachi was shocked. What do you mean, Hokage-sama? How is it possible? And if he did, why keep it a secret? Only a few people know about Minato's family lineage and his full history before he came to village. People only know him as a war-orphaned kid, but in reality he was the grandson of the village's greatest trader, Madara Uchiha. Itachi was shocked to the core and his eyes widened. Madara was the former head of the Uchiha clan and the co-founder of the village Konoha, the strongest Uchiha to ever live and second strongest shinobi of his time after Hashirama Senju. Who would have thought the village's most beloved Hokage, Minato Namikaze, could be the grandson of the most hated shinobi to come out of Konoha? But before Ichi could ask any questions, Naruto spoke. Naruto was also shocked. Madara Uchiha? But how? Why didn't anybody know about it? Naruto's shock made his questions come rapidly. Not many people know today, but when Madara left the village, he also had a 5-year-old son and wife who he had left behind. Hiruzen began. Because of his actions, there were many attempts on their lives from within the clan and from the village. Seeing all this, Hashirama faked their deaths with the help of his brother Tobirama to give them a normal life outside the village. Hiruzen paused, but both Itachi and Naruto were stunned into silence, and Hiruzen continued. They lived outside the village in a nearby town with their fake identities, and both the first and second Hokages kept in contact with them. As the child grew, his hate for the Uchiha clan and especially for his father also grew with him. He never became a shinobi and never awakened his Sharingan though. He was a simple farmer, and in time he married a woman named Mira Namikaze and they had a son who was named Minato Namikaze. Itachi tried to process this new information. But Hokage-sama, why did Minato-sama come to the village? His parents were both killed during the Second War by some shinobi, and at that time, Minato awakened his Sharingan for the first time. He was only 6 at that time, and his father Izuna, noticing his eyes, told him to go to Konoha and contact Tobirama Senju, the second Hokage. But weren't there people in the village who noticed his eyes? Itachi asked. No, it was a well-kept secret, Hiruzen answered. When Minato met the second Hokage and told him everything, he also said that his father wished for him to not getting involved with the Uchiha clan. Then Tobirama sensei took Minato under him and with the help of Mido Uzumaki, he prepared a seal to hide his eyes so no one would discover it. Later, though, Minato told some of his close friends and people he trusted. Wow, this is a lot to take in on one day, Ji-chan, Naruto muttered. I would never have imagined that I could be related to so many strong people. First I learned that I'm the son of the fourth Hokage and then that I'm the great-grandson of Hashirama Senju, and now that I'm also the great-grandson of Madara Uchiha. That you are, Naruto-kun. But if the news of your heritage becomes known, your life will be in grave danger. There are forces in and outside the village who would be after you if they knew. That is why I kept the identity of your parents hidden. Naruto nodded in understanding. Don't worry, Gigi, I won't tell anyone about it. Then he asked the question which he had wanted to know his whole life. Ji-chan, is there any more of my family out there? Hiruzen smiled at the innocent look on Naruto's face and happily responded. Well, of course there is, Naruto. You already know them or at least have heard of them. They're quite famous now. Your godfather Jiraiya was once my student and your father's sensei, and your mother's cousin sister Tsunade Senju. Naruto was relieved at hearing he still had a family, but then a fear come across his face. They didn't abandon me, did they? No, Naruto-kun, they could never hate you. They just can't be in the village. Jiraiya runs a spy network for our village and is constantly on the move. He has his duties for the village, but he does ask me about your well-being in every letter he sends me, and he even sends money every month for your expenses. Your toad wallet is a gift from him. Hiruzen's voice was reassuring. Then he sighed, thinking of his other student, and he shook his head a little and continued. As for Tsunade, truthfully I don't know where she is. She left the village after the Third Shinobi War and has only come to the village a couple of times. The last time was to meet your parents. Why? Naruto asked in confusion. She has her reasons. As for why she is not in your life, it's because she doesn't know you're alive. I have tried in the past to get in contact with her, but my attempts always end in failure. She is hard to track down and I can't have Jiraiya go after her because he has been on an important mission for a long time. Naruto nodded in understanding but felt a new loneliness that he couldn't be with his only living family. Itachi, who had remained silent, was still letting the information sink in. He was stunned to learn about the fourth's connection to the Uchiha clan and was also worried for Naruto. If the information became known to the others, it would create some serious problems for Naruto. He looked at Hiruzen without emotion. What now, Hiruzen-sama? We can't let the news about Naruto's Sharingan be known to others. How will we protect the information? Hiruzen nodded in seriousness and responded. You're right about that, Itachi. We can't let that happen, but you don't have to worry about that. Just give me a couple of days to find the seal in Minato's notes. He didn't use his Sharingan much, but he kept the notes on the seal safe. After putting the seal on Naruto's eyes, we don't have to worry about anything. Itachi nodded, relieved. Hiruzen turned then to Naruto. Naruto-kun, don't ever tell anyone about what I've told you. Wait until you fully trust a person to keep your secrets hidden, alright? Ji-chan, don't worry, I can keep secrets. Naruto responded. Hiruzen smiled at him, then looked at Itachi. Itachi, make sure no one from the Uchiha clan knows about Naruto possessing the Sharingan. I also leave Naruto to you, so you can train him properly on how to use Sharingan. Itachi nodded and smiled. He would have done that even if the Hokage hadn't told him to. You don't have to tell me, Hokage-sama, I already planned on doing it. Naruto gave him a big grin. I am ready for anything, Nisan. Hiruzen and Itachi both laughed at his expression and were glad that Naruto had taken the news calmly. I think that is it for today, Naruto-kun, Hiruzen said. You should go rest now and give yourself time to relax. You had a very long day today. Come on, Naruto-kun, I'll drop you at your apartment, Itachi said and went to his knees, showing his back to Naruto for him to climb on. Naruto happily climbed on Itachi's back and tightened his hold on him before waving goodbye to Hiruzen. I'll see you later, Jichan. Hiruzen nodded at him with a smile on his face, and as they retreated, he muttered with a long sigh. Well, it went pretty well, thank Kami. Then he looked at the portrait of the late fourth Hokage with a faint smile as he became lost in his thoughts. You will be so proud seeing your son Minato. Both you and Kushina, I am sure of it. One day he will become a great shinobi and a man, and I will help wherever I can in his journey. Time skipped 2 years later, with Hiruzen. Hiruzen was standing near the window staring out over the village, but his mind was elsewhere, thinking about Naruto and the decision he had made earlier in the day. Naruto had grown excellently in the past 2 years and was performing much better than students his own age. The instructors in the academy considered him a once-in-a-lifetime prodigy and compared him with the likes of Minato Namikaze and Uchiha from their academy days. The news of him possessing the Sharingan had been kept a secret. Besides himself, only Itachi and Naruto, and now Kakashi and Jiraiya, who had been later informed about it, possessed the knowledge. But that wasn't what was worrying Hiruzen right now. Now, he was thinking about the meeting regarding academy results that he had attended this evening with the elders. Flashback, Hiruzen was sitting with his old teammates and some of the instructors of the academy looking over the recent performance of the students. He was satisfied with the results of the students so far and he looked at Danzo. Look at Naruto Uzumaki's report card, Hiruzen, Danzo said, handing him the report card and also getting the attention of the others. Hiruzen looked at his report card, and to say he was impressed would be a little thing. Compared with Naruto's results, the other students didn't even stand in the same league. His teammate, Koharu, asked in confusion. What's wrong, Hiruzen? Danzo was the one who answered her. Naruto Uzumaki is again ranking at the top of his class this year. Top in every subject, performing well above his age and known to use the Jounin level Shadow Clone Jutsu. He beat a senior class student who tried to bully him and his classmates, and he's also known as the once-in-a-lifetime prodigy with the likes of Minato Namikaze and Uchiha. Hamura spoke. Shadow Clone Jutsu is a very high-level jutsu, and for him to know such a technique is pretty impressive. Yes, he is very talented Hokage-sama, but also very kind and respectful with others and his fellow classmates. I have seen him many times helping others in class and he never showed any arrogance in his abilities, Ruka informed them proudly. He doesn't fit in at the academy anymore, Danzo said. He has shown great maturity and is very strong. I say let's graduate him early and promote him to Genin rank. The others looked at him in shock at this suggestion, but it was Ruka who voiced his thoughts. But he is too young to become a shinobi. Hiruzen also nodded in agreement. Ruka is right, he is too young at the moment and the time is different from our time. We are at peace now. We don't want children to fight at such young ages. Let him enjoy his childhood before getting involved with the shinobi world. Danzo sneered at Hiruzen and his weak ideology and spoke firmly. Don't be foolish, Hiruzen. There were many shinobi who graduated at such an early age. Just look at Uchiha and today he's an Anbu captain. If we let him continue in the academy we're just wasting such a fine talent. Hamura and Koharu agreed with Danzo, stating that the main priority was to make their village strong and Naruto would be a fine addition in their shinobi ranks. I agree with Danzo-sama, there isn't anything left that we can teach him at the academy. It was one of the academy instructors sitting next to Ruka who spoke. Hiruzen knew that Naruto was strong and could already become a Chunin, but he had always hoped for him to make friends with his age group, and to be promoted with older kids. Could destroy his career if they didn't treat him well. He spoke after thinking carefully. I agree with you, but as you also know, Naruto is a special case. If we suddenly promote him with kids he doesn't even know, that could destroy his Shinobi career, and we can't have that. I have decided that instead of graduating him early, I will advance him to the final year class. There he will graduate in 1 year, and during that time he can also get to know his fellow classmates better and form bonds with them, so he can put trust in his teammates. Danzo and the other thought for a moment, and finding this to be a good option, showed their agreement with his decision. That will be a good option, Danzo said. Ruka spoke in concern. Are you sure, Hokage-sama? Is it wise to let him graduate at such an early age? I understand your concerns, Ruka, but I also can't ignore his performance. He doesn't fit in the academy anymore. Flashback end. Hiruzen sighed and brought himself back to the present. Only time will tell if I've made the right decision, Hiruzen thought as he looked at the fourth Hokage's face on mountain above the village. Thank you for watching.